Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and we're here today with the very first episode of our New York Beauties. Now, I'm calling this In a New York Beauty Minute, Monday, just to take a thing off of a song in a New York Minute, you know, that kind of that phrase. Anyways, so we're going to be starting to do this today. Now, I have picked my color palette for this these blocks, because they'll end up being a charity quilt for probably a baby, because we're only making 12 blocks. It's going to be green, orange, and purple. Yes, those are the colors, and I'm cutting into my fat quarters because I can, and I don't really have a lot of orange scraps, and the purple scraps need a nice refresh, and I thought, well, this would be perfect to refresh them. I'm going to start pulling out some of my fat quarters, and we're just going to have fun with it today. So we're going to be doing this here. Now, the PDFs for this are down in the show notes below. This makes a 12-inch finished block. So there's 4 pieces of paper you have to kind of like push together and tape together, but match your dark lines, and when you start matching your dark lines, then you can match the lighter lines too, right? So at least it'll tell you which lines go where. So anyways, before we get any further, let's do our shout out, because otherwise I'm going to forget. Jean Lorraine at Quilt As You Go for beginners. I found her channel a while back, and we're filming this at the very beginning of June, so I was like, okay, so we've got to add her to the list, because I mean, I go looking for new channels all the time, right? So it's kind of important. But like I say, if you guys find one, send it to me either in my email address under the About tab or in the Facebook group. Just private message me with the link, because I'm really lousy at finding stuff. Yeah, and I found her, and I was like, oh, let's give her some love and encouragement. I think she's just kind of starting out, so you guys go over there and surprise her and tell her that Brenda from Conquering Mount Scrapmore sent you. Also, we are doing Zoom sew dates. That's also in the show notes, so you guys have got to get into those show notes. From now until December, it's the first Saturday of every month, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, because I'm in Alberta, Canada, and we're just having a blast. Now, also, So Yeah is having their charity drive for Alaska, and they're out of Vegas. So you guys, I've got their YouTube channel and their website. So if you have a charity quilt for them, please contact them, because I think their drive ends August 15th, but you got to contact them, because everybody who's participated in it just had so much fun doing it. It was a wonderful thing to go do. Share, like, and subscribe. Making comments helps us. We know life is busy. If all the time you got to do is send us a heart, we'd be delighted to hear from you. And it helps push our video forward, and we can continue giving you fun, free patterns. We also have a Facebook group, and it's warm and welcoming. We share pictures. We ask questions. We have numerous community chats and fabric exchanges by country to keep the postage costs down, and we have a virtual sewing room hosted by Discord for the Facebook group members. So now, excuse me. So now you have a virtual sewing date all 24/7. You know, and the ladies that gather in there, and some of the guys too, they gather in there. They just have a great time. Also, I speak for free to quilting guilds or quilting groups, and I talk about elements of design, working with scrap fabrics, and making charity quilts. So if your group or guild is looking for somebody to talk to about any of those topics, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to give a speaking engagement. Quilt Bingo is going to start about 3 weeks after Spring Fling with Strings ends. We're going to do some quilt math, another 3 episodes of quilt math, because I've had some requests on doing different quilt math videos, because people are struggling with the quilt math, and it makes it a little easier for them too when we do quilt math. So, and once that happens, then we'll do Quilt Bingo, and that's a skill builder project where we're going to try and do like beginner, intermediate, expert, you know, and we're, you know, like this way you build a skill for this, and you can try, a beginner can try an intermediate block or an expert block. Nobody's saying that you can't. And there's going to be a bingo card, and there's kind of a loose rules. There's all sorts of loose, crazy rules, but it'll be fun. But yeah, it's I'm looking forward to that one too so much. And everybody's quilt is going to look different because everybody's going to be working on different skills, right? So it's all good. Now, I think that's it. So come on in. Let's get to our Sewing in a New York Beauty Minute Monday. Okay, we're at the sewing machine. Now, you have to glue, kind of tape this pattern, matching your lines, like I said before. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take my paper scissors and I'm just going to quickly cut out the stuff that we are looking for on this. I got 2 copies of this block. And I just love New York Beauty blocks, I really do. So there's the corner bit. Now, there. So this is kind of these are fun little ideas to work with. Now, I tend to go a little bit oversized because I can, and it just works better for me. Now, you're only taping the pattern. You're not taping the entire piece. And this only fits on 4 sheets of paper. We could not get this to fit on one. We could get it to fit on one if we did it 50%, but then you're working with a 6-inch block, and that's a really tight curve. And tight curves are not easy to sew like a large gentle curve. Like large gentle curves like this are much easier. And the last piece, of course, is the middle. Now, there's some tips and tricks I'm going to give you here throughout the video on how to do curve piecing when it's foundation paper pieced and, you know, all of that. But, okay, first off, I'm going to get rid of all this mess. And I'm going to get rid of the second pattern. There, it'll give us, free up a bunch of space now on our desk. So now we have to decide. My palette is orange, green, kind of a bright orange. I'm picking brighter oranges, paler greens, of course, and purples. So this will be my dark, my light, and my medium, right? So that hopefully will get enough contrast out of those colors to make this work. Let's see. Now, first thing we need to do is we decide what our top and our bottom, right? Like the little pie shape and the outside pie. So this will get done next. So I'm going to pick, let's see. This is our light and our dark. Let's do the light and the dark in here, and we'll do the orange as the top and the middle and the center. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this and pin it into place, right? Because basically this is our template. Now, if you were doing several blocks of this, you would have several layers of fabric that you would be pinning in place, you know, to make your edge, right? And don't be cheap with the pins. Put pins in. Make this as best you can. And now I have a little bit over on all the 2 sides. I'm not going to trim that side at all. I'm going to, of course, put it so that it's, you know, it's there, but I'm not trimming it. Now this I'm going to take from here because we can. And even though I'm going to trim along this line, I'm going to leave these lines bigger, right? Because now I'm cheating a little bit. That's a good, you know, if you're a little short or a little shy on this or that, you know, you can now cheat because you've got a little bit extra going on. And because of the way you're going to be cutting this, it's okay. It's okay to have a cheat. It's fine, actually. Actually, cheats are recommended. Now, I'm not going to do this with the world's smallest scissor, and my husband has left the room. So I guess I'm just going to be cutting this out with this scissor because he can't stay here. If he's round, I hope hubby hears me and can go get my fabric scissor, because otherwise this could be a very long cutout. Oh, guess what? He's here. Thank you. Oh, yeah. There we go. And you just want to cut, make sure you stay, you know, you keep that line relatively reasonable. Like, don't wobble too much. Don't, you know, there's better ways of cutting this stuff, I guess, but there. And you just want to get past that curved edge. There. And now you take it, and of course it flips and flops and everything else, because I didn't starch this fabric. I decided I was not going to starch it. Now, there we go. And now we just go back up, cut there. So that's one piece, right? This is the one piece. Now you can see from the back, it's too big, right? Like this edge, that's okay. That's our outer edge. We want that a little bit on the big side. So I'm just gonna put this here to the side. And now we're gonna go up to this area here and get in there like so. There we go. Should probably put another pin in there just because I can. I'm not real fond of that big space without a pin. Now, I know some people too, when they do these New York beauties, they really like the idea of putting starch in because it makes the blocks lie perfectly flat. And if you're one of those people, go for it. It's a lot of extra work, and you know, it's a lot of extra work. This will go into the string bin. Okay. And I'm just going to make the outside edge of this just a hair bigger, because I can. And that's our cheat. That's going to be our cheat. This little bit extra. Now I'm making it bigger than I need to, because just in case, you know, you got some shortages or shrinkages. And once you start sewing a bunch of stuff in there, you know, if you're doing a bunch of little piecing, you know, it could end up being a bunch of little stuff being pieced. There we go. There. Now, so that's the other side here. Now we're just going to put this off to the side because we don't need it right away. And hopefully get it out of the way so it doesn't cause any damage. So this now becomes a scrap, right, for me. And that'll be good because it's kind of a fun orange color, and it's bright. I might use it again in these 12 blocks. I haven't quite decided yet, but hey, you know, we're here to have some fun. Now, you'll notice these points are not numbered. So you can start from one end and work this way. You can start in the middle and work out. It's up to you. Where's your comfort zone? How do you want to do this, right? I mean, if you've been following along doing all the paper piecing, this is a symmetrical piece, and therefore, you know, you can start in the middle and move out. That works, right? I mean, it's whatever you want to do. Now, I have 5 points of green, and I have 4 full points of green and 2 half points. So, I'm going to create a little bit of cheating going on here. And you know what? I'm gonna go just like this. There. And I'm going to, the green is about this width. Where'd my ruler go now? Everything went. Everything disappeared. The green is about 6 inches. So if I cut a 6-inch strip off of here, I should be able to do this entire piece, right? Because this is less than 6 inches, right? So let's do that. Let's cut a 6-inch piece off, and then we can use it for all of the piecing. So we just fold it over like so. We fold it over like so. And of course we have to flip it around like so. And line it up so it's kind of straight. And give it a clip. Just like that. And now these two pieces here can either be used in more blocks, or we can put it into our scrap pile and help freshen up those colors a little bit more. So what I'm going to do from the first is I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it, because I forgot to score them. I should probably take the time out to score them, but I won't. So basically I'm going to just flip it like that. And that's going to be my first line of sewing. So now I'm going to take these two pieces, whip one wrong side and one right side. And now do I want 5 full peaks of green? If I do, I put the green up and I lay this down. And I lay it down about 1/4 of an inch away from where that has to be. Right? Just like so. And that's going to be my first seam. Now I'm going to pin again, just because it would, that first seam sometimes is a little wobbly, and I don't want wobbly. No wobbly in the seams. So I just quick like this. There. So now we're off to our first piece. Now you're like, wait a minute, this is not what I expected, right? That's okay. That's okay. So now we're just going to follow that line. There we go. We're going to follow the line, and there. There we go. Just like that. Now, give it a pull. There. We're going to take our pins out, and we're going to trim the purple. The purple gets trimmed, right? Not the green, not anything. We're just going to give it a quick little finger press to make sure that that purple's in the right spot. Yes, it is. And we are trimming off right here. I'm just going to quickly give this a quick fold. There. Now, you pull this off just a hair. You get your add 1/4 ruler and your rotary cutter, and there you go. That's your first seam has been done. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to trim between these two lines here, because you want to put another purple on, right? So, what you're going to do is you're going to flip this over like so, and you are going to fold and just give that little twip, pull it open just a hair, right? There. So now you've got your first two pieces on. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put another purple on here, just like so. Now, my purple needs to be wider here. So I'm making sure I've got lots of good coverage, which I do. And, okay, this is kind of a long seam. So I am going to flip this over and pin it again. It's a little long. It's a little long. And I thought, oh, okay. Yeah, it's a little long. So let's just give it a little quick pin. Just one here and one there. And there we go. So our next seam is this one right here, right? Now you can number these. You can color what color you want where. That's also an option. That's actually a very good option. So now I hold it and then I start my all the way up. When I'm holding it and just stitching in place, it creates a little knot. There it is again. I hold it and I stitch in place, and now I give it a pull, clip my threads, and I cut off. Oops, I pull this out because yeah, it has to come out. Okay, there, just like so. So I'm making this a little odd. There we go. Now, I know this is a stripe, and some of you would prefer all the stripes to be going all the same direction, but the reality is it can be as campy-wampus as you want. Okay, there we go. All right. There. Now, we're just going to trim that off, just like so. We've got good coverage, so we're good. Now, I'm going to put green on because that's the next color. Now, if you wanted to do this wholly scrappy, you would need some larger scraps. Definitely, you're going to need some larger scraps, and it would work. You could make this work. This would just be wonderful. Large. Okay, now I'm going to move this down just a hair, and again, I'm going to pin because it's a, like I say, a little bit longer seam. I prefer to pin it. Normally, I'm so used to doing tiny stuff because I'm still working on the minis, you know, that mini Monday, you know, to get all of those great fabrics in there. I think I did something dumb. Let's just take a look first. Have I got it wobbly? No, I don't. Okay. So, now, there we go. Put this down. And hold it and stitch up and down a little while to make a knot. And right to the bottom. Stitch and hold it. There we go. Nice. Now, let's see if this works. Okay, there we go. There we go. We just finger press that open like so. And we're going to open this like this. Okay, there we go. Get our add a quarter ruler. You could use a regular ruler for this too. This, you know, everybody thinks, oh, we have to have all the latest gizmos and gadgets. No, you don't. No, no, no. No, 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 no. Okay, so now I'm going to put this down just like so. I wonder if it's, maybe it's the fabric being so huge. Oh well, we'll try this. We'll wing it. We'll wing it. I'm gonna hold it in place. Hold it in place again, and then right off. There we go. Now, there. So now we, like I say, you would be pressing, right? Because I'm trying to be conscious of your time, and I know that people have said the intros are too long, and it's just I have lots to say to you guys, but I'm trying to cut those down into basic, you know, the minimal amount of stuff to say. Okay, now we've got two greens on either side, right? We have this now coming out like so. There. So now we're back to the purple, which is perfect. Okay. So for the purple, we're now going to go just like that. Yeah, I think it was the length of the fabric that I was working with. You see, you cut it and trim it and then sew it on again. That saves a little bit of scrap usage, but it's up to you how you want to do this, right? There we go. If I were doing an entire quilt with this same block, what I would be doing is I would be doing several at a time. Several blocks at a time, because that's the way I sew. But, you know, it's entirely up to you guys how you want to do this. Okay, here we go. Another nice straight. Here. There. Now. Ooh. Okay. We're trimming. It looks like there's a lot here to trim, so There. Let's do that. We'll make that kind of a cut instead. Okay, now we go to the purple on the other side that needs to be done. Now I have a choice of, oh, I won't do that. I'll do this instead. I will do this instead. Okay, so I line this up just like so. And you're gonna end up with a weird piece of purple, but that's okay. It's all good. It's all good. No, just there. I'm looking forward to this one for a while. I wanted to make a New Year beauty block, quilt block again for I don't know how long. I'm talking about it, and this year I get to do it. So I'm impressed. So yeah, we've been promising it to people too for a while, so it'll be nice. Okay, now here we go, and we're just going to get this. Okay, so we got this covering the way we need it to be covered. So now we're going to go back to the green. There. Okay, so now we go back to the green, and we're gonna lay this out. Because we're working, basically we worked from the center out, right? Which is fine. That's a good way to work. And so I'm just going to go like this, get all this stuff out of the way. There we go. There. Now, if you're having problems getting those lines to match up, just do your best, right? I mean, this is the easiest block. It will get easier as you go along. You know, the more familiar you get with stuff. Yeah, there are, you know, some things that you just, well, okay, it's got to be done this way. That's okay. And that's all right, you know, it really is. Okay, now let's get this green off of here. There we go. Give that a little pull just like so. There we go. There. Now we go to the other side and get the other piece of green on. There's enough difference between these colors, you know, to go back and forth between, you know, dark and light. So that's always good. Now, there we go. There. You know how I say, like, when you're doing the paper foundation paper piecing, it never looks like anything until you trim it up. Well, that's really true for New York beauties. It doesn't look like anything. It's like, you know, like you did what with this fabric? Okay. And here we go. Just like that. Yeah, I would recommend scoring these. I didn't score them. I don't know what I was thinking about when I didn't score them, but I didn't score them. That's my bad. But anyways, so that's okay. Here we are. We're wishing we did something different. Now, okay, so now we're doing the half ones, and we've got to put it like this. So we have to trim off this edge, these little peaky things. They can go back into the purple crumb bin because they're small enough. And they're cute. They're kind of, you know, little hearts dancing along them. I'm just going to move that out of the way so don't do something dumb like cut the fabric. cut the stuff I've just sewn. Okay, so we want it to look like that. Okay, so we want it to look like that. And, oops, we're gonna get that back. We got another one in here? Yeah, I do have another pin rolling around. Okay, so we're just gonna put it like that, and so. Oof, okay. Well, let's get all this stuff out of the way, because I'm losing ground for some reason. I feel like I'm losing ground for some reason. And it's probably because I've got all this paper and stuff in the way. Okay. Now I got, yep. Yes, I do. Okay. There we go. There. Now, take that out. Now I'm just going to finger press this really hard, just like that. And I'm going to cut across. I'm going to cut across this way. And this way. There. So now I have another piece here that I can use for the other side. Let's just get that done. There. Just like that. So we guessed pretty good as to how much we needed. I'm just going to move this down just a hair. There we go. Now the last piece is going on here. Yes, it looks messy. Okay. There we go. And there we go. All right. And I think we achieved what we wanted to achieve here, so we're good. All right, now we're gonna just trim off this stuff because it's just way too much. And this is gonna go back into the purple crumbs, so as well, because it's a good size piece. And this as well. Okay, so now we have to trim. We're going to put the smaller circle on first, right? So we're going to put this circle here, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure, because this has been marked, right? Then we're going to make sure this exactly matches what we need, right? So we're going to cut right on that seam allowance line. And we're just going to take our time and go very, very slow. And, oops, there we go. Cutting around the line. Okay, so I finished cutting this curve. We lost camera all of a sudden. So this is what it's going to look like for now, right? And we're going to put in this piece here, right? So what we're going to do is I'm going to take a pin and I'm going to put it in one side, right where that corner is, right in the corner. Boof, right like that. And then I'm going to go do the other side, and I'm going to come out on the other side of this. And there. Now, that pin has to be perpendicular or at a right angle to the paper, and it will give you, like, it can't be like that, because it can't be like leaned way over. It has to be up and down, like perpendicular, 90 degrees. And then what happens is I will pinch this to this end here. Now that I've just marked my center. Okay, so now I pull this out because I've got my center marked. That's where I have to make my little dot. So now I go into the corner here and I come out and I bend it around and I come out the corner here, right in that corner. Right in the corner. I missed the corner. Here we go. Again, the pin has to be up and down, not leaned over, like just like perpendicular to the paper, right? And then you follow along and then you give it a squeeze, because that now you've just marked your center for the middle bit. Okay, so now you're gonna line these two up. Now, what some people like to do is they go through like this, and this is sewn on the wrong way. Okay, so that's going to be awkward because this is the back. Yeah, that's the right side. Okay, so I'm going to take. Did it mark the page? Yeah, it marked this. That's good. So we'll get that in there. So I'm going to fold this right out of the way so I can get to the divot a 1/4 inch down from that divot, right? That's what I need. I need this for, and I'm just going to take the tiniest bite of fabric, right there, marking my center. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this corner here, and I'm going to grab a pin from near the center of this, and I'm going to go right in that seam allowance right there and fold the paper out of the way, because basically I put this on here wrong, and have it go very perpendicular and take the tiniest bit, just the tiniest bit. And now we're going to do the other side. Oops, where's my pin? Honest to God, these are not that hard to wrestle. But apparently, today I'm having issues. So, again, the corner, right on the corner, and right here, where did it go? Right here, a 1/4 inch down. And I'm going to fold this right out of the paper for that's on the orange part. I'm just going to fold it right out of the way. Now, what I'm going to do, I've got 3 points marked, and I'm just going to pull the pins. I'm going to pull the paper out of there, because this now, when I cut this out, I cut it out so that it was, I should have had it where the right side was there instead, but I didn't. Okay, so that's real sewing here, people. It's real sewing. So what you're going to do is, now there's a couple of ways you can handle this. You can either go through and pin this all in the round, right? And, you know, it's going to work out kind of even. It's going to work out fine for you. Or you can, you know, have this, like you would start this from this end, right? And you would do a few stitches in, and then you would just work in your bottom, right? Like you kind of like steer it in. But you can't do it with all these pins, right? So either that, or you could, you know, go a little ways, pin, and, you know, then make it look like a porcupine. That's up to you too. Some people, they like that porcupine. They find that it works really well for them. Other people struggle and struggle and struggle. So we're going to show you the porcupine method. Now we're just going to go in and take just the smallest bite of fabric. That's it. Just the smallest bite. I don't like this method because I think it's very time consuming. You know, and there's other things you could be doing and having fun with, but, you know, pinning like this, I mean, and if you were doing, let's say, a quilt with, you know, 36 blocks of this, would you really want to be doing the porcupine method? But anyways, so just the tiniest little thing. And what you will do is you work in this block. You work it in. You're just taking tiny little snippets of this, and you're working it in. That's basically what it boils down to. But you want to take tiny bites around, not big. There we go. There are easier methods of doing this curve, by the way, but everybody chooses their own method too. Everybody. Okay. There we go. And the smaller curves are harder to do, right? The outside curve with the corner is going to be much easier. So this is the porcupine method, right? You take tiny little bites of fabric, right? Then you get this under your needle with all the pins and you start feeding it under. Now, this is why I don't like this method, because it just is a pain in the tuchus to get it started, because you got everything going on and nothing happy. You're not happy with anything here. So I'm gonna go just like this, make a little mark here, and I'm gonna try and keep that 1/4 inch. And yes, I'm sewing over my pins, which I shouldn't be doing, to make this happen. And I go slowly over the pin so I don't nick my needle. And and like I say, you're only working on that 1/4 inch, right? That's what you have to keep in mind. That's what has to happen. There we go. There's another one. Another pin gone, another pin gone. Once you get past a certain point, it starts to relax, but you're not there yet. You know. Oops, oops, oops. There. It doesn't look like it's gonna fit, does it? Oh no. It does. It really does. Yeah. There we go. Now, line it up, and you're just doing little bits at a time. You're not going like great long strides when you're doing the porcupine method. That's what I call a porcupine method, by the way. This right here. And it does start to relax a bit. And it's always a tougher curve to sew because it's a smaller curve, right? And I do not enjoy this method, but I have been asked to show the method where you do all the pinning. And there we go. And we are done. So now we see how bad we did. How bad we did. Oh my god. Real life sewing. Real life sewing, right? Now, the first thing we look at is, do we have we or seam, is it on that line? Is it somewhere near the line? Is it over the line, or is it way out? And my seam happens to be pretty good. It's on the line, right? So this now is successful. Let's see if we flip it over, whether we have a lot of bumps and grooves and, you know, wobbles and whatnot. We are good here too. So that's nice. This will, whatever is here, will iron out. So we're good. Right now, let's take the top and let's just trim this nice and neat. I'm going to show you my method that I prefer, because it's so much easier. So much easier. But you know, sometimes you have to know how to do things more than one way. And the reason I call it the porcupine method is I have stabbed myself and bled all over stuff doing that way too. That's kind of the other thing I don't like about this. There. Okay, so here we go. We're going to do this part now. Now this, of course, again, is the wrong way. But we're going to outsmart it this time because I have cut right to the edge, so that's okay, right? So what I'm going to do is going to quickly get this finger pressed, and I'm going to take out all the pins. Now what I did is when I cut this, I cut right to the edge, right? So I know exactly where my edge is. Okay, now I'm just going to line that up again, give it another good, you know, once more, give it a good little touch. Okay, now move this out of the way. Now, where that center is the top of that peak, right? So this will go just like this, right? So that's one marked area that you've got. Right now, you want to go 1/4 inch down, and I hit that 1/4 inch, right? And then I take the oops, I pulled the needle out. Oh, okay, this is not my day. I'm not holding my tongue right or something. Oh, okay. There we go. You want to take the tiniest little bite, and not without pulling out your pin. There we go. Oh, that's not there. There, okay. So, this edge matches up with this edge, but this edge is not cut right, so I'm going to just pull this edge back so that I get it meeting up. Yes, I do. Hang on, is it there? Where is it? Life for me is not simple. Okay, there. So life for me, so there is where I'm going to start, right there with this. Okay. Now, you can sew this with your 1/4 inch foot on if you want, or you can sew it this way. It's entirely up to you. There are no, or you can use the porcupine method. It's up to you what you want to do. I'm not going to tell you, you must do it this way. No. You're not comfortable doing it. You're not comfortable doing it, right? That's all there is to it. And you just take your time. You work gently around the seam. You know, and this line flat and everything, you know, it's kind of nice. Kind of nice to just have it go all the way around. Just like so. There. And you keep it on the 1/4 inch, right? Like right there on the 1/4 inch marking of your thing. And here we come right to the center, down without hitting the needle. And now we're going to fold where this is. There, this needs to end. Right there. And we are going to match this up to that line. And we're just going to pin it right there. There we go. You take that and you move it. There we go. Now, back to your 1/4 inch. So nice and neat. Okay. Another bit more. Yeah, just take your time. Don't get crazy. Oh, and I have a big part here that's over. Why? Oh well. Okay, we'll just take that out. It might have stretched around, but that's okay. It doesn't look right. But we've cheated, right? We've got more fabric than we need, so that's fine. There we go. Now, I'm going to take this out and flip it over and see, first off, okay, did we miss any of the seams along here? No, we have not. So we're right on that 1/4 inch line, really close to that 1/4 inch line. So now, what we can do is give this a good press, trim it to 12.5 inch, right? So it will finish at 12 inch. And hopefully, this will look just great. There we go. And it's going to lie really flat when it's done, when it's all pressed. So let me come back and we'll do our big ta-da moment. So here is the first block of our New York beauties, and in a New York beauty minute, and you know that old saying about in a New York minute? Well, here we took a little take on it. So but yeah, this is coming out. This is block 1 of 12. We're only making 12. So hopefully I'll give you a lot of experience on how to you know, do different things within the New York beauties. This one came together. This one's probably the simplest one to do. And like I say, this one makes a striking quilt all on its own. If this is the only block you wanted to do, this would be perfect. It's got some bigger curves in here, especially this one, easy to do. And like I say, you can always check your work against the background to see whether or not you've actually, you know, sewn in where you needed to sew in. And if you're out more than 1/8 of an inch, yeah, re-sew it. Re-sew that little area there, because that'll make a big difference. So anyways, I do hope you give these a try. This has been so much fun for me to come up with and show you guys how to do. I've picked rather a wild color palette, but I'm hoping it's working for you. So you guys stay well and take care, and I hope you have an absolutely blissful week ahead. Okay, bye! My husband and I would like to thank you for all of your support and watching our videos and sharing and liking. It has just been, you've put us on such an amazing journey, and we are having so much fun. I hope everything is going so well in your life, and you know, your 1/4 inch is perfect. Everything is working out for you. And we're just so happy to be part of your life, and you having, like I say, you're watching us. I was just so thrilled that you're doing that. So I want to say goodbye, and I want to thank you with all my heart. Okay? Take care. Bye.